So I have this old guy. He is a really beautiful old bear from the UK. And this is one of those occasions when you have to listen to the customer. So the customer does not remember this bear any other way other than having these button eyes and the nose like so. I did tell him that they may not be his original eyes, but he doesn't remember the bear any other way. So I'm not going to replace them. We discussed it, but his hands are pretty badly damaged and will need covering. So, and so are his feet. So I'll just find some kind of matching fabric that's similar to the color that he has and replace those feet. And I believe he's on his way back to the UK to visit the family. So yeah, that's what we mean when we say don't interfere with what people remember. So I have this old guy. He is a really beautiful old bear from the UK. And this is one of those occasions when you have to listen to the customer. So the customer does not remember this bear any other way other than having these button eyes and the nose like so. I did tell him that they may not be his original eyes, but he doesn't remember the bear any other way. So I'm not going to replace them. We discussed it, but his hands are pretty badly damaged and will need covering. So, and so are his feet. So I'll just find some kind of matching fabric that's similar to the color that he has and replace those feet. And I believe he's on his way back to the UK to visit the family. So yeah, that's what we mean when we say don't interfere with what people remember. So normally I would, when people have done their own stitches or somebody else in the family has done the stitches, I wouldn't remove them. The only reason for that is because it's part of their journey. But in the case of this little guy, the stitching that's been holding that paw together makes the paw pad about half the size of the other one. So unfortunately, I will need to take those ones out. Same with these paw pads as well. I probably need to, put a bit more stuffing in the bear as well, and all the rest. So I will endeavour to not remove stitches wherever possible, because quite often with these old beautiful bears, the bear has had its little journey, and over the years people within the family have done repairs. So where it's possible, I try to save the stitches. So this little boy, the only work that the gentleman wants done is in fact the paw pad sorted out, and then like I said before, he's on his way for a trip to the UK to see his family. So yeah, I'm going to just now, I've got the paw pad fabric ready, and I've used my Brian pattern design to put those together. So I'm going to hop straight in and do that, and then I'll show you hopefully how I stitch, because I have a great friend has just given me an amazing tool for holding my camera while I actually do work, which is actually quite difficult on a smaller scale. So thanks, Jess, for that. It's a real blessing. So matching up paw fabric for the bear, you've got to try to get it as close as you can, keeping in mind that sometimes it's a bit dirty, keeping it as close as you can to the original. I mean, sometimes there is no pad left, so you have not really got a choice. But then I just turn to this bear will fit perfectly. I have a basic bear making pattern called Brian, named after my beautiful husband. And quite often, because it's a traditional kind of a pattern. His paw pads will fit. So this is not the original size. I've increased it by 30%, and the foot pad's the same, and quite often it's just the perfect size for the bear. Sometimes I have to trim it a bit more or extend it a bit more, but yeah, that should work a treat for this guy. So as often as the way, people have no recollection of a bear being repaired, but this guy, when I went to do his foot pad, and the fabric is clearly disintegrated, had definitely had a repair somewhere along the line. So he had not his original stuffing in his legs, and then I've discovered another hole I'm going to need to fix as well, but he's really soft stuffed, which is unusual for these old guys, but in his head is still the original. Well, people think it's straw, but it is in fact like a wood wool that is put in. So his head has still got the straw, but his body and limbs are stuffed with what I think is a soft cotton. Yeah, it looks like that. Yeah, I needed to strengthen up his ankles, which I've done, and then I will continue to stuff the foot. I try to match stuffing for stuffing, but given that he's already got like a cotton, I have a pure wool stuffing that I will finish the foot with and tighten up those ankles a bit with. But yeah, so he's probably had a repair at some point. The gentleman that dropped him off thinks he's about 70, but he actually may be older than that. So that'll be an interesting story to follow up. Sometimes the hardest part of the repair is, in fact, the paw pads on their little arms. This, again, I've had to undo some of the stitching. I've left some of it there, and restuff the kind of wrist part, I guess you'd call it, and again tried to design a paw pad that will actually fit on. So I always use, like I said, my basic Brian pattern, and then work from there. Like obviously I've added and whatever to it. So yeah, these parts normally take me the longest because it's extremely hard to get them exactly right for each bear, and each bear is a little bit different. But again, the arms are stuffed with something other than the wood wool that is in Ted's head. So definitely, if I get an opportunity to speak to the gentleman, just ask him if maybe the bear is in fact older than he remembers, and in fact had been repaired some time ago and then the button eyes put in. Yeah, interesting story. But yeah, so the next job is to get those paw pads in, and again I just take little tiny stitches and do a little ladder stitch again to get that in place. It's a slow process replacing paws. Like a lot of people are like, whoa, it doesn't, how long does that take? Approximately 2 to 3 hours. So it depends on how badly damaged the paws are. So yeah, so it's longer than you think because you have to do really small stitches, and yeah, so I will get back to it and I will give you an update after. So now I'm going to ladder stitch this paw pad on. So I've actually restuffed the leg as much as I can. I will stitch this paw pad over the originals. We never ever get rid of the originals. Always cover over. I mean, there is always an exception to every rule, but technically we try not to do that. So the stitch I use is called a ladder stitch, with a fairly good needle. It's just a little small grab of the paw pad fabric. So the pins I'm using are actually florist pins. They're for corsages, but they're just so helpful. And then across, and a small grab of the body fabric, and I push it in. I do about 4 or 5 stitches and then gently pull as I go, always in the direction I'm sewing. The smaller the stitches I can get, the better. So yeah, I try to, and I'm not sure if you can see that, but it looks like I'm lacing up a shoe or a football, and then when I pull it, just pull, you can see that it's almost an invisible stitch or an invisible repair. So I'll go right the way around, making sure that it fits, oh, shouldn't stick it in the bear, fits perfectly into place, and then I will add some more stuffing to help fill it out before I completely close it in place. So sometimes I have to trim away portions, but this one looks like it's actually quite a good fit. So I will do that, and then I'll do the paw pad, and I'll show you what I do with the paw pad as well.